You tried to sell my house for $200,000. Let me show you what real estate looks like. Serena Hayes stands in the doorway of the Hayes family mansion, car keys still in her hand. The drive from downtown Seattle took 45 minutes. She could have said no to this meeting. Should have said no. But when your sister calls crying about an emergency, when she uses words like crisis and desperate and please, you show up, even when you know it's probably a trap. The mansion sits in Laurelhurst, 3 acres overlooking Lake Washington. Her father bought it in 1987 for $500,000. Now it's worth 8. Old money, old furniture, old grudges that never quite die. Inside, the family is already gathered. Living room, leather sofas, crystal decanters catching afternoon light, the smell of her mother's perfume and something else. Tension. Thick enough to choke on. Victoria stands by the fireplace, 32, blonde, perfect in that calculated way that comes from personal trainers and dermatologists on speed dial. She's holding papers, lots of papers. Lucas sits on the sofa, arms crossed. 27, their father's favorite, the son who was supposed to carry the Hayes name into the next generation. He won't look at Serena. Reginald Hayes occupies the wingback chair like a throne. 68, silver hair, navy suit even on a Saturday. He built Hayes Properties from nothing. Turned it into a $100 million real estate empire. And he never lets anyone forget it. Miriam, their mother, perches on the edge of the love seat. Porcelain skin, trembling hands. She's been taking pills for her nerves since Serena was 12. You're late, Reginald says. Not a greeting, an accusation. Traffic. Serena closes the door behind her. Doesn't take off her coat. What's the emergency? Victoria steps forward. Her smile is sympathetic, practiced, the kind she uses when she's about to stick a knife in your back. We're worried about you, Serena. We all are. Worried. About your finances, your situation. Victoria glances at their father. We know you've been struggling. Serena almost laughs. Struggling. Don't be proud, Lucas finally speaks. His voice has that edge he gets after too many drinks. We're trying to help. Help how? Victoria holds up the papers. I found a buyer for your villa, the one in Capitol Hill. They're offering $200,000, cash, closing in 30 days. The room goes very quiet. Even the traffic noise from outside seems to fade. You found a buyer, Serena repeats slowly. For my house. It's below market value, obviously, but given your circumstances, I thought you'd want to move quickly. Victoria's smile widens. You should thank me, Serena. I just saved you from bankruptcy. Reginald nods. Your sister went out of her way. Put her reputation on the line. The least you can do is show some gratitude. Serena looks at each of them. Her father, her mother, her siblings, the people who are supposed to be her family, the people who have spent 29 years making her feel like she doesn't belong. She sets her purse on the side table, pulls out her laptop, opens it slowly. What are you doing? Victoria asks. Showing you something. Serena connects to the TV above the fireplace. A few taps. Her screen appears on the 70-inch display. Bank statements, investment portfolios, property deeds. The numbers fill the screen in clean, devastating rows. Capitol Hill Villa, $1.5 million. Current value. Queen Anne Townhouse, $2.1 million. Ballard Apartment Complex, $5.8 million. The list goes on and on. 24 properties across Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma, each one professionally appraised, each one fully owned. Total portfolio value, $28 million. Victoria's face goes white. Lucas sits forward. Reginald's jaw tightens. The only thing I'm bankrupt in, Serena says, voice level, calm, is patience. Miriam makes a sound. Something between a gasp and a sob. That's not possible, Victoria whispers. You work in property management. You rent a studio apartment. You drive a 10-year-old Honda. I worked in property management, Serena corrects. Past tense. For about 6 months after college. Then I started investing. She clicks to another screen. Hayes Lake Resort. The massive development 40 miles north. 200 acres. Private lake. Luxury cabins. Conference center. The project Reginald refused to fund 3 years ago because he said it would never work. I own this, Serena says. All of it. Bought it 18 months ago. It's currently valued at $12 million, projected to hit 20 within 2 years. Reginald stands. Actually stands. His face is purple. That's my project. My concept. I turned it down. You did. And a very smart investor bought it instead. She smiles. Me. Lucas is on his feet now too. This is insane. Where did you get that kind of money? I earned it. While you were getting DUIs and Dad was bailing you out, I was building. Victoria's hands are shaking. The papers flutter. The power of attorney is expired. Serena says it gently, almost kindly. Expired 3 years ago, which means that sale you just arranged. Completely illegal. She reaches into her purse, pulls out her own documents. Here's the real power of attorney, the valid one. It specifically states that no one in this family has authorization to sell, mortgage, or transfer any of my assets. She hands them to Victoria. Watches her sister's hands tremble as she reads. I had my lawyer send a cease and desist to your buyer this morning, along with a lawsuit for attempted fraud. They've already withdrawn their offer. The room is a tomb. No one moves. No one speaks. Serena picks up her laptop, closes it. The TV screen goes dark. She walks to the sidebar, pours herself a glass of red wine from the crystal decanter, Reginald's favorite vintage, the one he saves for special occasions. The platinum ring on her finger catches the light, custom made, 3 carats. She bought it for herself last year. You know what's funny? She swirls the wine, takes a sip. You all spent so many years telling me I was the failure, the disappointment, the one who would never amount to anything. She looks at each of them. Really looks. And I believed you. For a long time I believed you. Another sip. The wine is perfect, rich, complex. Then I realized something. You weren't disappointed in me because I was failing. You were disappointed because I wasn't failing the way you wanted me to. Serena sets down the glass, picks up her coat. Thanks for the emergency meeting. It's been enlightening. She walks toward the door. Victoria finds her voice. Wait. Serena, please. I was trying to help. I thought you needed $200,000 for a $1.5 million property? Serena turns. You thought I needed that? Or you thought you could get away with it? Victoria's mouth opens, closes. Nothing comes out. Serena opens the door. Afternoon light streams in. Oh, and one more thing, she says. That power of attorney you tried to use? Keep it. Frame it. Hang it on your wall. A reminder of the day you tried to steal from me and failed. She steps outside. The door closes behind her with a soft, final click. Inside the mansion, the Hayes family sits in silence, surrounded by old money and new shame. They called me a failure. I just redefined what success looks like. The memory hits Serena as she drives away from the mansion. Sharp, clear, like it happened yesterday instead of 7 years ago. She was 22. Fresh out of college. University of Washington. Degree in sustainable architecture. She came home with a portfolio under her arm and hope in her chest. The Hayes family had been in real estate for 3 generations. Her grandfather built houses in the 50s. Her father turned those houses into an empire. This was supposed to be her legacy too. She remembers walking into that same living room. Same leather sofas. Same crystal decanters. Reginald sat in the same chair, reading the Wall Street Journal like it was scripture. I have something to show you, she said. He didn't look up. Make it quick. I have a meeting in 20 minutes. She spread her designs across the coffee table. The Green Build project. Low-income housing using renewable materials. Solar panels. Rainwater collection. Green roofs. Beautiful and sustainable and affordable. This could change everything, she said. Her voice was shaking with excitement, with possibility. We could build housing that actually helps people, that helps the planet. Reginald finally looked up, glanced at the designs, laughed. Not a chuckle, a real laugh, the kind that echoes. Real estate isn't about saving the planet, Serena. It's about owning it. The words landed like stones, heavy, cold. Victoria was there too, 25, fresh MBA from Stanford. She picked up one of the designs, studied it like it was a child's drawing. It's very idealistic, she said. The word idealistic sounded like an insult. But where's the profit margin? Where's the ROI? It's not just about profit. Everything is about profit. Reginald folded his newspaper. That's the first rule of business. Apparently, they didn't teach you that at college. Lucas wandered in then, hungover, reeking of cologne and regret. He looked at the designs for maybe 3 seconds. Hippie nonsense, he said, and walked out. Miriam sat in the corner, silent. She always was. But Serena caught her mother's eyes. There was something there. Something that wasn't quite pity, wasn't quite recognition. Just a strange, hollow stare, like she was looking at a stranger. Reginald stood. Meeting over. When you're ready to talk about real projects, come back. Until then, don't waste my time. That was it. No discussion, no consideration, just dismissed. Like her 3 years of research meant nothing, she gathered her designs, hands shaking now for a different reason. You're making a mistake. The only mistake, Reginald said, is thinking feelings belong in business. She left the mansion that day, didn't come back for 3 years. The first year was brutal. She lived in a studio apartment in Ballard, 500 square feet. The kitchen was in the living room. The bedroom was the living room. Everything was the living room. She worked as a real estate consultant, made $42,000 a year, ate ramen more nights than she'd like to admit, watched Victoria's engagement announcement in the Seattle Times, watched Lucas get promoted to vice president at Hayes Properties. Nobody called. Nobody checked in. She could have been dead and they wouldn't have noticed for weeks. But she was building, quietly, carefully. Every paycheck, she saved. Every bonus, every commission. She studied the market like it was a language she needed to be fluent in. Learned which neighborhoods were undervalued, which properties had potential, which sellers were desperate. She bought her first property at 24. A rundown duplex in Columbia City. $75,000. She fixed it herself. Learned plumbing on YouTube. Learned electrical work from a retired contractor who lived next door. Sold it 8 months later for $130,000. Took that profit. Bought 2 more properties. Flipped those, bought 4. The compound interest of ambition. Each success funding the next. Each property teaching her something new. She worked 16-hour days. Weekends didn't exist. Holidays were just days the banks were closed. She learned to read people. Learned to negotiate. Learned that being underestimated was actually an advantage. Young woman, quiet voice. People assumed she was naive. Made offers they thought she'd accept. Never realized she'd done twice the research they had. By 26, she owned 12 properties. Portfolio value $6 million. By 28, she'd doubled it. Nobody in her family knew. They'd stopped asking what she did for a living, stopped inviting her to dinners. Christmas cards came addressed to Victoria and Lucas. Her name just absent, erased. Fine. She erased them back. The lakeside resort came up for sale when she was 27. Hayes Lake Resort. The project Reginald had rejected 2 years earlier. Too risky, too remote. No market for luxury cabins in the Pacific Northwest. He was wrong. She knew it immediately. She bought it for $8 million. Renovated it using her original green build concepts. Solar power, sustainable materials, low environmental impact with high luxury appeal. It was everything her father said wouldn't work. It was valued at $12 million within a year. Now, driving through Seattle at dusk, Serena takes a detour. Drives north. 45 minutes out of the city. Away from the traffic and the noise. Hayes Lake Resort appears around a bend. 200 acres. Private lake reflecting the sunset. Luxury cabins nestled among Douglas firs. The main lodge with floor-to-ceiling windows. She parks, gets out, walks down to the water's edge. The lights from the resort reflect on the still surface. Gold and white dancing on black water. It's beautiful. More beautiful than she imagined when she first sketched it at 22. A family walks past, 2 kids, parents holding hands. They're laughing, heading to dinner at the lodge restaurant. They have no idea who owns this place. No idea about the girl who was told her dreams were hippie nonsense, who was laughed out of her father's office. Serena sits on the dock, lets her feet dangle over the edge. The water is cold. October in Washington. Winter coming soon. Her phone buzzes. Text from Victoria. Please call me. We need to talk about what happened today. Serena deletes it. Not yet. She's not ready yet. She looks back at the resort. Her resort. Built from nothing. Built from rejection and determination and 7 years of refusing to quit. This is what they couldn't see. This is what they'll never understand. Success isn't about following someone else's path. It's about having the courage to build your own. She stands, brushes off her jeans, walks back to her car. Tomorrow, she'll go back to the city, back to her life, back to the family that doesn't know what to do with her now. But tonight, she stands here, in the place they said would never work, surrounded by proof that they were wrong. They called me a failure, she whispers to the dark water. The lake reflects back at her. Silent, knowing. I just redefined what success looks like. It's not a dinner, it's a disclosure. The invitation goes out 3 days after the mansion confrontation. Elegant. Simple. Cream cardstock with gold lettering. You are cordially invited to Hayes Lake Resort for a family dinner. Saturday, 7 p.m. Business attire requested. Victoria calls immediately. Serena, I'm so glad you're open to talking. I know things got heated, but we're family. We can work through this. 7 p.m., Serena says. Don't be late. Lucas texts. Can we please just move past this? I'll talk to Victoria. We can fix it. Reginald doesn't call, doesn't text, but Miriam confirms attendance for both of them. Her voice on the phone is thin, fragile. Thank you for giving us another chance. Serena doesn't correct her. Saturday arrives cold and clear. October in Washington, the kind of evening where you can see your breath. The resort glows against the darkness, every window lit, the main lodge warm and inviting. The Hayes family arrives in 2 cars. Reginald and Miriam in the Mercedes, Victoria and Lucas in Victoria's Tesla. They park near the entrance. Stand for a moment looking at the building. She really owns all this? Lucas asks. Apparently. Victoria's jaw is tight. She's wearing her armor tonight. Power suit, heels that add 3 inches, hair perfect, war paint. Inside, the lodge is stunning. Vaulted ceilings, exposed beams, a stone fireplace tall enough to stand in, windows overlooking the lake, now black and still under the night sky. Serena waits in the main conference room. Not the restaurant, not a private dining room. The conference room, 20-foot table, leather chairs, a massive screen on the wall. She's wearing white, tailored suit. No jewelry except that platinum ring, hair pulled back. She looks like she's about to chair a board meeting. Because she is. Thank you for coming, she says as they file in. Her voice is cordial, professional, cold. Of course, sweetheart. Miriam tries to hug her. Serena steps back. Please sit. They do. Reginald at the head of the table out of habit. Victoria and Lucas on one side, Miriam alone on the other. Serena stands. I know you came here thinking this was about reconciliation, she begins. That we'd have dinner, talk things through, maybe hug it out. Victoria nods eagerly. Exactly. We're family. We shouldn't let money come between us. You're right. We shouldn't. Serena picks up a remote. That's why I wanted to be very clear about what's actually been happening. The screen behind her flickers to life. Email correspondence. Dozens of them. The header is clear. From Victoria Hayes to Lucas Hayes. Subject lines like asset transfer strategy and timeline for takeover. Victoria goes pale. What is this? Your emails. Serena clicks through them, starting 8 months ago. Right around the time Dad mentioned he was thinking about retirement. The emails are damning. Detailed plans to transfer Hayes Properties assets into accounts Victoria and Lucas control. Discussions about forcing Reginald into early retirement. Notes about limiting Miriam's access to finances. Where did you get these? Victoria's voice shakes. You sent them from your office, company server. Did you really think there was no IT oversight? Lucas stands. This is a misunderstanding. We were just discussing contingency plans. Sit down. Serena doesn't raise her voice. Doesn't need to. He sits. She clicks again. Bank statements appear. Transfers. Hundreds of thousands of dollars moving from Hayes Properties accounts into a personal account under Lucas's name. $347,000, Serena says. Transferred over 6 months. Want to guess where it went? Silence. Emerald Casino, Pacific Gaming Club, high-stakes poker rooms in Vancouver. She looks at Lucas. You have a gambling problem. A bad one. Lucas's face crumbles. I was going to pay it back. With what? More money you stole from Dad's company? Serena clicks again. The debt is up to $600,000 now. And Victoria knew. She helped hide it. Victoria jumps up. Those emails are fake, fabricated. You're trying to frame us. They were sent from your office Wi-Fi. October 2nd, 2:14 p.m., 2 months ago. Serena pulls out a folder. I have the IT logs, the IP addresses, the metadata, all of it. Reginald's face is purple. He stands, moves toward Lucas. For a second, Serena thinks he might actually hit him. Dad, please. Lucas backs away. Reginald's hand comes up, open palm, aimed at Lucas's face. Don't waste your performance, Dad. Serena's voice cuts through the moment. You're next. Reginald freezes. Turns. What? Did you really think I'd stop at them? She clicks the remote. New documents appear. Tax returns. Real ones and filed ones. The numbers don't match. Not even close. Hayes Properties reported $12 million in income last year. You actually made $23 million. The difference? Offshore accounts. Unreported revenue. Classic tax fraud. Reginald's hand drops. You have no proof. I have 5 years of proof. I've been auditing your company for 18 months. Every transaction, every transfer, every lie. More documents. Bank statements from the Cayman Islands. Payments to city council members, zoning commissioners, building inspectors. And then there's the bribery. $500,000 in payments to Seattle officials. For favorable zoning, expedited permits, looking the other way on code violations. Victoria sinks into her chair. Serena, stop. Please stop. You were in on this too, Victoria. Your name is on half these accounts. You co-signed the bribe payments. It's just how business works. Everyone does it. Everyone doesn't. Serena sets down the remote. And everyone isn't about to be investigated by the FBI. The room goes dead silent. Miriam makes a sound. Broken. Barely human. Serena, please. This will destroy us. Destroy everything. Serena looks at her mother. Really looks at her. This woman who stood by while Reginald dismissed her. Who watched Victoria and Lucas scheme. Who said nothing when they tried to sell her house. You destroyed yourselves, Serena says quietly. The day you tried to sell my home. The day you decided I didn't matter. I'm just making sure everyone else knows what you really are. The conference room doors open. 3 people walk in. Cameras. Recording equipment. Press badges. This is Amanda Chen, investigative reporter for the Seattle Times. Michael Rodriguez from King 5 News. And Sarah Park, freelance journalist. Victoria screams. Actually screams. You invited the press? To a family meeting? This isn't a family meeting. Serena gestures to the screen. This is a public disclosure. Everything you see here has been submitted to the FBI, the IRS, and the Washington State Attorney General. Lucas tries to run. Makes it 3 steps before hotel security blocks the door. They're not rough, just present. Immovable. Reginald grabs the edge of the table. His knuckles white. You vindictive little... Careful. Serena's voice is ice. They're recording. The cameras are rolling, catching everything. Reginald's rage. Victoria's tears. Lucas's panic. Miriam collapsed in her chair, hands over her face. Amanda Chen steps forward. Miss Hayes, can you confirm these allegations? Every word, every document. Serena hands her a USB drive. It's all here. 5 years of fraud, bribery, conspiracy. Take your time. It's a lot to go through. The bright lights of the cameras make the room feel like an interrogation. Which it is. A public execution by truth. Serena walks to the door. Stops. Looks back at her family one last time. You taught me everything I know about real estate, about business, about winning. She pauses. You just forgot to teach me mercy. Then she walks out, leaving them in the lights, in the cameras, in the ruins of everything they built on lies. By blood? Not anymore. The headline appears at 6 a.m., front page, above the fold, impossible to miss. Hayes Empire under federal investigation, tax fraud, bribery allegations rock Seattle real estate dynasty. The article is thorough, devastating. Amanda Chen didn't hold back. 5 years of fraud laid out in black and white. Names, dates, dollar amounts, everything Serena gave them and more. By noon, Hayes Properties stock is in free fall. By 2 p.m., federal agents are executing search warrants. By evening, the company's assets are frozen pending investigation. Serena watches it all from her apartment, coffee in hand, news on every channel. Her phone explodes with calls and texts. Reporters, lawyers, people from her past suddenly very interested in reconnecting. She ignores them all. Except one. A voicemail from Miriam. 3 words. Please come home. Home. That word feels wrong. Foreign. Like putting on clothes that don't fit anymore. But Serena goes anyway. The mansion looks different in daylight. Smaller somehow. Less imposing. The fountain is still running. The garden's still perfect. But there's an emptiness to it now. Miriam opens the door herself. No housekeeper, no staff. They've all been let go. Budget cuts. Or maybe they just didn't want to be associated with the Hayes name anymore. Her mother looks old. That's the only word for it. 62 but looking 70. Hair unwashed. No makeup. The pills for her nerves aren't working anymore. Thank you for coming, she whispers. They sit in the sunroom. Not the living room where the family meetings happened. Somewhere softer. More intimate. Windows overlooking the garden. Serena has an envelope in her purse. Has been carrying it for 3 weeks. Since she first suspected. Since she started seeing the pieces that didn't quite fit. Hospital records that didn't match. Birth certificate with a name crossed out. Photos where Reginald looked at baby Serena like she was a stranger. She paid for the DNA test herself. Used her own money. Sent samples to a lab in California where nobody knew the Hayes name. The results came back 10 days ago. She's been sitting with them ever since, trying to decide what they meant, if they changed anything, if they changed everything. Why did you ask me here? Miriam's voice breaks the silence. Serena pulls out the envelope, sets it on the coffee table between them. White paper, lab logo in the corner. The weight of truth sealed inside. Who's my father, Mom? Miriam's face goes white. Not pale. White. Like every drop of blood just left her body. What? You heard me. Serena's voice is calm, steady. She's had 3 weeks to process this. 3 weeks to feel the rage and grief and then let it go. Who is my biological father? Miriam's hands start shaking. She reaches for the envelope, pulls out the results, reads them even though she already knows what they say. 0% probability of paternity. Reginald Hayes is not the biological father. The paper trembles in her grip. Tears start falling. Silent. Heavy. How long have you known? Miriam whispers. 3 weeks. But I've suspected longer. Serena leans back. The way he looked at me. The way he never looked at me. It all makes sense now. Miriam sets down the results. Covers her face with her hands. Her whole body shakes with sobs. I'm sorry. God, Serena, I'm so sorry. Tell me about him. My real father. A long silence. Outside, birds sing. The garden fountain runs. Life continues like nothing has changed, even though everything has. Finally, Miriam speaks. His name was David. David Morrison. He was an architect. Worked on one of Reginald's early projects. Her voice is distant, lost in memory. He was kind, gentle. Everything Reginald wasn't. Did you love him? Yes. No hesitation. He was the only man who ever saw me. Not as Reginald's wife. Not as a Hayes. Just as Miriam. Just as me. Serena feels something crack open in her chest. Not anger. Something else. Something that feels almost like relief. What happened to him? He wanted me to leave Reginald. Come away with him. Start over. Miriam's tears fall faster now. But I was pregnant. And I was scared. My family. The money. The life I knew. I chose security over love. Did Reginald know? I told him before you were born. Gave him the choice to walk away. She laughs. Bitter. Broken. He stayed. For appearances. For the merger with my father's company. But he never forgave me. And he never forgot. Serena stands. Walks to the window. The garden is beautiful. Precisely maintained. Every hedge trimmed. Every flower in perfect rows. Artificial. Controlled. Just like everything else in this house. That's why he hated me. She says it to her reflection in the glass. I was proof of your betrayal. Living evidence that he wasn't enough. He didn't hate you. Yes, he did. Serena turns. And now I understand why. I spent 29 years trying to earn love from a man who could never give it, because every time he looked at me he saw someone else. Miriam reaches for her. Serena, please. What happened to David? My father. My real one. He died. Car accident. 6 months before you were born. Fresh tears. I never got to tell him about you. Serena closes her eyes. Breathes. Lets the information settle. She's not a Hayes. Never was. The name she carried. The legacy she rejected. The family that never wanted her. None of it was ever really hers. And instead of devastating her, it sets her free. I'm selling my shares in the resort, she says. Miriam looks up. What? Cascade Group made me an offer. 15 million. I accepted it this morning. But that's our competitor. If they get control of that land, they'll destroy us. You're already destroyed, Mom. The FBI. The IRS. The investigation. Serena's voice is gentle, final. Hayes Properties is done. This just speeds up the inevitable. Please. Miriam stands. Don't do this. Think about your sister. Your brother. They're not my siblings. Not really. Serena picks up her purse. And you're not my family. Not anymore. She walks to the door. Miriam follows. Desperate. Grasping. You can't just walk away. We raised you. Fed you. Gave you everything. You gave me a name I never wanted and a legacy built on lies. That's not everything, Mom. That's nothing. Her phone rings. Lucas. She declines it. It rings again immediately. She powers it off. 2 days later, the deal closes. Cascade Group takes ownership of Hayes Lake Resort, uses it as leverage to acquire 3 more Hayes Properties developments at bankruptcy prices. The empire collapses. Completely. Trading suspended. Assets seized. Employees laid off. The Hayes name becomes synonymous with fraud and failure. Lucas shows up at Serena's apartment, 3 a.m., drunk, desperate, pounding on the door until she opens it. Please, he's crying. Actually crying. You're my sister. You have to help me. The debts. The casino. They're going to. I'm not your sister. What? Serena shows him the DNA results. Watches his face as he reads. Watches understanding dawn. By blood? She takes back the paper. Not anymore. She closes the door, locks it, walks back to bed. Outside, Lucas keeps knocking, keeps begging. Eventually, he leaves. Serena lies in the dark, staring at the ceiling, feeling lighter than she has in years. She's not a Hayes. She never was. And that's the best news she's had in 29 years. They built their empire on control. I built mine on freedom. 2 years later, and Seattle looks different in spring. Cherry blossoms line the streets. Rain gives way to Sunday. Everything feels possible again. Serena stands in front of a converted warehouse in Georgetown. The building is old, brick, character. She bought it 6 months ago for $500,000, spent another $200,000 making it perfect. The sign above the door reads Hayes Green Foundation in simple black letters. Not Hayes Properties, not the family name used for power. Just Hayes. Reclaimed, redefined, hers. Inside, 30 women sit in folding chairs. Ages 18 to 40, different backgrounds, different stories, all of them here for the same reason. They want to learn about investing, about finance, about building something that belongs to them. Serena teaches the Saturday workshops herself, shows them how to read a market analysis, how to identify undervalued properties, how to negotiate without backing down, how to build wealth one decision at a time. Real estate isn't about the buildings, she tells them. It's about freedom. Financial freedom, the freedom to choose, the freedom to leave. Some of them nod. They understand. They've lived in houses that weren't homes, worked for families that didn't value them, stayed in situations because money kept them trapped. Not anymore. After class, Serena drives to Ballard, parks in front of a small craftsman house. Blue paint, white trim, a porch that needs fixing. She bought it 3 weeks ago. Foreclosure sale. $90,000. 2 kids wait on the front steps. Emma, 8, Noah, 6, both wearing paint-stained clothes, both grinning like they've been given the best gift in the world. You're late, Emma says. But she's smiling. Traffic. Serena grabs paint supplies from the trunk. Ready to work? They spend the afternoon repainting the living room. Pale, yellow, warm, inviting. Emma takes her job seriously. Careful strokes. Staying inside the lines. Noah gets more paint on himself than the walls. His laugh fills the house. This is what family sounds like, Serena thinks. Not silence, not criticism, just joy. They break for lunch. Sandwiches from the deli. Sitting on the floor because there's no furniture yet. Rain starts again. Soft, steady, Seattle in spring. Emma watches the water run down the windows. Her expression turns serious. Thoughtful. Is this our home now? She asks. Serena sets down her sandwich, pulls Emma close. Noah scoots over too. 3 people who found each other after being lost. No, sweetheart. She kisses the top of Emma's head. This is the first of many. Emma looks up, confused. We're going to fix this house, make it beautiful, then we're going to sell it. Serena smiles. And use that money to buy 2 more. Fix those, sell those, keep going. Why? Because that's how you build something real. One house at a time, one choice at a time, until you have enough that nobody can ever take it away. Noah tugs on her sleeve. Can we keep one? Just one? We already have one. The townhouse in Queen Anne. That's ours. But these? She gestures around the room. These are practice. These are lessons. These are the start of your future. Emma nods slowly. Understanding. You're teaching us. I'm teaching you to never need anyone who doesn't deserve you. They finish painting as the rain stops. The house smells like fresh paint and possibility. On the drive home, both kids fall asleep in the back seat. Exhausted. Happy. Serena takes the long way, drives north, out of the city, 45 minutes to where the lake waits. Hayes Lake Resort appears around the bend. It doesn't belong to her anymore. Cascade Group owns it now. But they've kept it beautiful, kept her vision, the sustainable materials, the green architecture, the dream her father called hippie nonsense. She parks, gets out carefully, doesn't wake the kids, walks down to the water's edge alone. The sun is setting, gold and pink reflecting on the still surface. The air smells like pine and fresh water. Peace lives here. Her phone buzzes. News alert. Former real estate moguls sentenced. Reginald and Victoria Hayes receive 15 years for fraud and bribery. She clicks the article, reads it standing by the water. Reginald will be 70 before he's eligible for parole. Victoria will be 47, both of them in federal prison, both of them stripped of everything they spent decades building. The article includes a video clip, courthouse steps, cameras, Reginald in an orange jumpsuit. He looks small, broken, nothing like the king who ruled from that wingback chair. Another clip. Lucas, not in handcuffs, not being sentenced, just footage from last week. Someone caught him on their phone, wandering downtown Seattle, disheveled, thin, eyes empty. The gambling debts caught up, the addiction won. And Miriam. The article mentions her too, living alone in the Laurelhurst mansion. No visitors, no calls, the house staff gone, her children gone, her husband gone. Just empty rooms and memories of choices she can't undo. Serena closes the article, looks back at the lake, the sunset, the resort she built that someone else owns now. She doesn't feel satisfaction, doesn't feel revenge, just a quiet, settled peace. They destroyed themselves. She just made sure everyone watched. Back at the car, Emma stirs. Where are we? Just looking at something I used to own. Do you miss it? Serena looks at her daughter. This child who came from nothing, who knows what it means to be unwanted, who's learning that family is something you choose. No, she says. I have everything I need. They drive home. The townhouse in Queen Anne. 3 bedrooms, a garden, a kitchen where they cook dinner together. Space for Emma's art supplies. Space for Noah's trucks. Space for Serena to finally breathe. That night, after the kids are asleep, Serena stands on the balcony. The city spreads out below. Lights, life, a million stories unfolding. The TV is on inside. Evening news. She catches the tail end of the Hayes sentencing story, watches her father being led away, watches Victoria crying on the courthouse steps, watches Lucas in that video, lost and broken. She turns off the TV, closes the balcony door. The apartment goes quiet. On the wall is a photo, her and the kids, painting that house in Ballard, all 3 of them laughing. Paint everywhere, joy captured in a single moment. This is her empire now. Not buildings, not money, not a name that comes with conditions. Freedom, choice, love that doesn't have to be earned. She built it from nothing, from rejection, from the ashes of a family that never wanted her. And it's more valuable than anything the Hayes name ever stood for. They built their empire on control. She whispers to the quiet apartment. The city lights twinkle back at her, full of promise, full of life. I built mine on freedom. If you've ever been told you're not enough, that you'll never measure up, that you don't deserve a seat at the table, remember this. The people who try to diminish you are often terrified of what you'll become when you stop seeking their approval. Build your own table, define your own success, and never let anyone convince you that their love comes with conditions. You are enough, you always were. Now go build something they said was impossible.